Don't downplay people who have worked so hard to build a platform. I would like to air my view around the current content or information around the Olodo Uprising. I've come across a couple of content or videos around it, and I'm dissatisfied with the lack of information around it. You see, the Olodo Uprising has been narrated is actually a false representation of what the social media age has brought to markets and economies. You see, the digital revolution that started during the early 2005 to date brought about what could be called an attention economy revolution, where people don't need to go through the four walls of institutions, schools, before they can be able to have access to markets, geographical locations, or people. Social media changed the way markets, products, economies, and people are influenced. Now, when it comes to monetization, when it comes to growing product, people, influencing culture, you don't necessarily need to be certified by any tertiary institution before you can be able to share your view or express yourself through social media. To me, I feel that those who are propagating the narrative around the Olodo Uprising are people who don't actually understand the industrial revolution age and how industries, generation are influenced or changed. If you say like an influence or a content creator like Pella or Kata Efe are in this category, you missed it. These are individuals that have been able to build influence inside the fate of brands, people, platforms by simply showing up every day, talking, and attracting attention that makes businesses, brands, government, people to bank on them with their hard-earned money. That is not child's play. And if you think that such an influence and effort can be categorized as the Olodo Uprising, you are making a huge mistake. There are other sectors and industries that are not regulated today that could be categorized as the Olodo Uprising sector or areas that need to be looked into. But I would not like to mention any. But I'm here to say, hey, don't downplay people who have worked so hard, irrespective of their academic certification. In quote, don't downplay people who have worked so hard to build a platform that attracts attention globally. And even though if they are doing that in a way that annoys your intellectual investment or capability, don't think that they are joking. These guys are influencing markets. They are influencing economies. They are selling brands. People are willing to bank on them just to make sure that they project their products. So Olodo Uprising is targeting the wrong market or the wrong people, if I'm to say. It takes a lot for people to keep showing up every day on social media, on their platforms, to build hundreds, if not millions of followers, dedicated followers that shows up and move wherever they go. So if you are out there thinking that content creation or those who are into it are joking, it means you've not understand the era we're in. This is the digital revolution. This is the time when a 10-year-old child can influence a brand that have stayed for 200 years before he or she is born. This is social media. Things have changed. You don't need to speak Queen's English. You don't need to even speak English that is error-free for you to influence brand. In fact, your ignorance and jokes on social media alone is what the algorithm feeds on. You must understand this. as a professional in the digital sector, I quite understand what is happening. And that is why I laugh, and people need to be informed, even those who are propagating the Olodo uprising. I went to school, I'm a graduate, and blah, blah. As you're kidding me. It doesn't change a thing if you cannot command markets, if you cannot influence the next stock that is going to go up or come down, the next product that the common man on the street is going to buy. It doesn't change a thing. Your degrees doesn't mean that somebody who doesn't have is an Olodo. Those out there who that shows up building brands and trying to project whatever they have or whatever they can become, don't be belittled. Olodo uprising is a narrative that is channeled to the wrong people and wrong sector. What about those on the streets? What about those that wakes up every day and shows up at night just to sell a piece of themselves that have nothing else to offer? So what do you call those ones? You clap for them. The whatever small brothers and all the rest that shows up, that keep showing us adult content, even those that you can call them the well-educated. So what do you call those ones? So now the word Olodo, if I quite understand, which is a typical street language, is actually addressing not actually those who doesn't go to school, but the lack of common sense. So you won't tell me that Pella, that has the influence to drive or grow brands, put people on the world map and everything, change the narrative of markets, and whatever he says, people goes for it. And will you call that kind of person Olodo? No. That means you don't understand what it means. People can be silly. People can be incorrect and still decide the fate of brands. So the Olodo uprising is targeting the wrong people. Not being educated does not mean that you didn't go to school. It's a lack of common sense. I think that should be the narrative that we should preach, not the Olodo uprising. Yes, my name is NJK.